Hello everyone, welcome to Yadnya Investment Academy. Today we are going to discuss about the topic Hindu Undivided Family, that is HUF. We have divided this topic into three parts. The part 1, which is the current part, we will discuss about the concept of HUF. In part 2, we will discuss about how HUF can save your tax. And in part 3, we will talk about how to create HUF and also how to partition the HUF. Let's first understand the concept of HUF. An HUF, or a Hindu Undivided Family, is a separate tax entity in addition to individual persons who are members of such an undivided family. Now, what is an undivided family? Undivided family is one where the property hasn't been partitioned among sons and daughters. If you are a Hindu, Buddhist, Jain or Sikh, you can have an HUF as a separate tax entity. You can claim all tax benefits under wealth tax and income tax. An HUF is eligible for those exemptions that are available to a resident Indian who is not a senior citizen. It can own property and also have its own business. It is obvious that a non-Hindu family cannot get this status. So a Parsi, Muslim or Christian cannot create a HUF. This means that a membership into a HUF does not come from a contract but from the status under Hindu law. Now we will discuss who all are included in the HUF. A HUF cannot be formed by a group of people who do not constitute a family. Lineal descendants with a common ancestor is a must. It means it includes those persons who by birth acquire an interest in some joint family property. Property can be movable or immovable. It also includes all lineal descendants of these persons and their wives and children, both sons and daughters. An HUF includes the following parties. The first is Karta. A Karta, who is a HUF manager, is the eldest among the co-partners. The Karta has the right to manage the property and business of the HUF. Karta can take decisions as the head of the family to sell, rent, buy the property and can also decide how to spend the income generated from the HUF property. The Karta can take decisions about the expenditure and alienation of the property even without the consent of the rest of the family and can enter into contracts, compromises and take loans on behalf of the family. However, this can be done only for the good of the family. In the event of the death of the Karta, his eldest son becomes the next Karta, who will be followed by the next son in line if the eldest son doesn't want to be the Karta. If there are no sons, the unmarried daughter can become the Karta in the unfortunate event of the death of her father. Second party are co-partners. A co-partner is a person who acquires a right in the ancestral property by birth, and a person who has a right to demand partition in the HUF property. Prior to the amendments made by the Hindu Succession Act 2005, only male members of the family had a right to the ancestral property by birth, and they were only entitled to demand partition in the HUF property, and thus only male members were called co-partners. Under the law, the members up to 3 lineal descendants are co-partners, meaning a family consisting of a father, his son, father's grandson and father's great-grandson are co-partners in the Hindu property. Thus, the genesis of co-partnery is a common male ancestor with his lineal descendants within 3 degrees excluding him. This genesis is so long as the male ancestor is alive, and after his death the degrees can consist of collaterals such as brothers, uncles, nephews and cousins, etc. Now, after the amendments made by the Hindu Succession Act in 2005, whereby even daughters have been included within the term co-partners, and all references to son shall equally apply to daughters also. The third party are called members. The other members of the family, such as daughter-in-law, son-in-law, children of female co-partners, are called members. Members do not have co-partnery rights, such as have no direct claim over HUF property, but can claim only through the co-partners. The members of HUF are entitled to maintenance. Maintenance including food, shelter, clothing, education, medical aid and marriages can be given to these members. A frequently asked question is how HUF come into being. An HUF automatically comes into being as soon as you get married. Hence, an unmarried man cannot form an HUF and be his own HUF's karta, but he can still be a member or a co-partner of his family's HUL. There are two kinds of schools governing the HUFs. The one is Daya Bhaga law and other is Mitakshara law. Under the Daya Bhaga system, the father is the sole owner and the exclusive possessor of the joint family property. No member can enforce the partition of the HUF as long as the father lives. But Mitakshara law says that the property should vest in the HUF itself and not in any individual member of the family, and therefore can be partitioned within the lifetime of the father also. The Daya Bhaga law is prevalent in West Bengal and Assam, and Hindus in the rest of the country are governed by the Mitakshara law. One important point here is that Kerala is the state in which HUF is not recognized. There are few important points we should know about HUF. The first is a daughter continues to be a co-partner even after her marriage, regardless of whether she is a member in her husband's HUF or not. Second point is, yes, there can be a female only HUF also, where a couple has only a daughter and the husband passes away, the mother-daughter duo can continue the HUF. The female can also be a karta. An unmarried daughter in the unfortunate event of her father passing away will become the karta of the HUF if she has no brother. Next point is, if a co-partner or other members converts himself or herself into any other religion like Islam or Christianity, he or she ceases to be the member of the family and cannot enjoy joint status along with other members. The next point is that the karta can claim remuneration and other benefits from the HUF for working as a manager. Yes, there can be a HUF within a HUF. Therefore, a son can have his own smaller HUF while he continues to be the member of his father's HUF. In his father's HUF, he can be a co-partner, and in his own HUF, he is a karta. Hope you have understood the concept of HUF. What are the different parties in HUF and what are the various schools of thoughts. In the next part, we will discuss about the benefits and the drawbacks of creating an HUF and also how HUF can save tax. Till then, if you have any question, please do write in the comment section below. Have a great day ahead.